Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Foreign Object on Pittsburgh Sports Castle. I'm your host, one of your co-hosts, Matt Halati, alongside Eddie McDonald. Eddie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And this week we have a special guest host, if you will, one of my friends, Mr. John Gorman. John, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm good, good. How are you guys doing?
I'm fine. Uh, Today we're going to review last night's episode of Monday Night Raw and then give our predictions on the Royal Rumble this Sunday. So last night we're just going to go through some of the main points, mostly the undercard. But first, what are your overall thoughts on the Raw? I thought the go-home show could have been better, obviously.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
Right.
Very lightly.
Yeah.
Very lightly.
Yeah. The crowd, just in general, the main point I took from it was terrible. You could say, oh, it was the show, but there were some bright spots in the show that the crowd could have been a little bit better. I mean, with Brock Lesnar coming out, even then the crowd was dead. So I think that aspect of the show it took away. But in general, wasn't anything spectacular, if I should say.
Right.
Who else has a thought on that?
It was a lackluster show for a go-home show, pay-per-view. The only thing that got me more excited than I already am for the Rumble was the main event segment, which we'll talk about here momentarily. But other than that, it was just a flat show. I was bored with it a lot of the time. I felt myself doing other things while the show was on. But very lackluster. And the spot with Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon, that was just too much.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the ball open, and obviously all those names said Roman Reigns in it. That segment didn't work for me at all.
They just seemed like they were trying way too hard with that Reigns in like a pin segment, and yeah, I completely agree with you, Eddie. Except for like the last 5 or 7 minutes of the show, this was a complete snooze fest. I found myself constantly flipping channels. There's just way too much filler on this show, and I get like it's hard with a 3-hour show, but it's still no excuse with them so much talent on this roster.
Right. I mean, there were a couple bright spots on the show, and the one that comes to mind right now is Becky Lynch's promo after her match with, I believe it was Tamina, and she cut a promo on Charlotte and Ric Flair. I thought that was one of her better promos. She had a lot of passion. She cut a lot. She ripped Ric Flair and Charlotte. I think it was great. It got me a little bit more excited for their match. I'm really looking forward to that match.
Yeah, same way with me. I thought that her little rhyme to mock Ric Flair's rhyme that he does about the wheeling dealing and all that, I thought hers was pretty funny. It definitely didn't seem like it was scripted. Like a lot of things seem like forced and scripted. It didn't seem like that. Her promo felt real, and it felt natural. It looked natural for her to be doing it, and you could just sense when Ric Flair got involved, he was going to put the title in line for Charlotte, and then you saw her face in the background just not happy. Someone was saying, I think it was Shane Shoemaker of CSRWrestling.com, he blogged about to get more heat on Charlotte, she'll have to turn heel on her dad at some point, which that looks even more likely now. And because she gave him a scowl afterwards, not wanting to defend her title on Sunday, but he accepted the match for her, and now we have the title match on Sunday at the Royal Rumble.
Right.
Yeah, I continue to just be very, very impressed with like Becky Lynch's charisma and her overall personality. It's really infectious, and like you can just tell she's getting more and more comfortable, and I am actually liking this storyline. I mean, comparisons like to like Paige and I'm Charlotte. This is Sky's better, if you ask me. So far so good. Hopefully they can.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Yeah, I like the slow build. I mean, since they debuted, um, you had the groups, and it was what it was. But I I mean the slow build. I mean, I think it's helping Becky Lynch with the crowd, and Charlotte was a good heel with her dad. I mean, he helps a lot, and those two can go in the ring given time. And on Sunday, you know they're going to get
12 to 15 minutes probably.
Yeah.
And with only what I believe we have four or five matches on the card right now, something like that. So they should get more than enough time to like tell a very good story this Sunday, and
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. See what happens.
And I think the next match, I think on the undercard that we were going to focus from Raw is the Intercontinental Championship. Last night we had Dean Ambrose and actually can combine two, Dean Ambrose and Kalisto versus Sheamus and Del Rio, right? I believe.
Right. Yep.
First, the IC title. I like this build too between Ambrose and Kevin Owens. They've been physical, which is great. I mean, they just build it great, in my opinion. And I want to see those two go at it in the last man standing match, because you know they're going to go crazy on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. This is the best feud going right now, followed closely by Charlotte and Becky Lynch that we just talked about. But this is the best feud. I would like to see a little more from Kevin Owens this week, but I did enjoy his commentary. I thought he was a great addition to the team, and he got him and JBL over as heels. Always talking down to Michael Cole and Byron Saxton, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, the match was what it was. I was more interested in his commentary anyway. But their feud is good, and I'm surprised to see it end, because there's no way the feud continues after Sunday, being that it's a last man standing match, and that's usually for blow-off matches. So hopefully Kevin Owens moves on to bigger and better things like The Undertaker and Dean Ambrose. I'm not sure what he's going to do, but hopefully Kevin Owens goes to The Undertaker.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I have honestly felt about Kevin Owens and Ambrose. They're like wrestling has been awesome. Just feel like just interest level in his feud is not as high as I thought it would be, but with that being said, I am looking forward to this match on Sunday. They're gonna beat the holy crap out of each other. I'm expecting nothing short of an awesome match here. So we'll see what happens.
With the match being the way it is, do either of them enter the Royal Rumble match, in either of your opinions?
Yes.
All right, both of them will be.
Both?
Yeah, I think they have to be, because I think lack of depth.
Well, I mean, they have enough guys to fill the 30 spots for the roster, but you have to think a last man standing match isn't the match that the winner might go. I think the winner of the match will somehow go into the Rumble, or maybe the loser will cost someone something. So that loser, if it's Kevin Owens, he might cost someone something. I'm just not sure these two go in the Rumble especially after that match, unless that match is put on first, which obviously the Rumble will be on last. So it'll definitely be interesting to see after these two beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
I think the match itself will carry over in the Rumble, if you will. They'll probably fight at one point or another. And I don't know if I don't think cost each other the. If they continue the feud, which I don't think they will, if they cost each other the match, I can see that happening. But if not, I really I don't know. But I think they fight somewhat in the match itself. But other than that, I think the feud will be over after that.
It needs to be over because what else can they do after Last Man Standing?
I'm just saying. I was just
this feud has to end, and hopefully it moves them on both of them to better things, and they will get a glimpse or an idea of who they'll be facing at WrestleMania after this is over, whether it be that night or the next night on Raw.
Right.
Yeah, I fully expect this feud to be over after the Rumble. And like Hetty said, I mean, where else can they possibly go here? I mean, they've pretty much exhausted every angle that they could have, and my question is though, who ultimately wins this match here? Because to me, neither guy can really afford to lose, so they might book them in a corner here a little bit.
I think the winner will be Dean Ambrose because he doesn't have to, or he's not going to lose the title. I don't think they're going to hot shot the title back and forth between the two.
No.
And I think Kevin Owens is going on to bigger things like The Undertaker, like I mentioned earlier. So I think Ambrose, if they both don't answer the 10 count, then I can see that happening and it just be a draw. But if Ambrose somehow gets up before the 10 count, or he just beats Owens that bad and he doesn't need to race the 10 count and then Owens is on the ground for 10, then I think he wins. But we'll just go into that prediction right now. I think he wins and keeps his title. And if he is in the Royal Rumble, wouldn't it be interesting if it was him and Reigns starting 1 and 2?
That would be interesting.
If I guess you guys mentioned it, if Owens faces, did you guys face The Undertaker earlier?
Mm-hmm.
If he does that, if he's in a big match, I don't think he needs to be IC champion. He can lose this.
Right, especially if he's facing The Undertaker, if that's indeed the plan they're going with at WrestleMania, which, I mean, that's just speculation at this point and hope on my part and a lot of other people's part. But that doesn't need a title. That doesn't need anything. And plus, The Undertaker, you can't justify him going after the Intercontinental title, a title he hasn't went after. I don't even know if he's ever held that title, honestly.
Let's be honest. I mean, a match with the Undertaker is a hell of a lot more important than going after a completely secondary title in the IC title. So yeah.
Right, especially at WrestleMania where there's
exactly
no one knows that this is going to be Undertaker's last WrestleMania, what his plans are going forward. So if those two are paired up at WrestleMania, that will be highly entertaining, and Owens can sell the feud himself without Undertaker even having to be there that much, just like Bray Wyatt did last year.
Yep.
Right, and if this is Undertaker's last match, that could be a prize for Kevin Owens, because he's a prize fighter, to put Undertaker out. That's the prize.
And that would definitely be his bragging point going forward if he does, in fact, face the Undertaker and then go on to beat him.
Like
we're going to see the Undertaker again. He'll make claim that he put the Undertaker out of wrestling. He can say within his first year he beat John Cena and the Undertaker.
And they'll make a mistake about this. This would be a way bigger win than over John Cena.
Right.
I mean, no offense to John Cena, but
definitely
beat the Undertaker, especially at the biggest show of the year. A huge credibility there for the Kevin.
And Owens doesn't have to win that match if they do in fact wrestle WrestleMania. He does not have to win it all. He'll be a made man off of losing.
Exactly.
Or even just being in the same ring as Undertaker. If he wins, obviously that's going to catapult him further up the card. But even if he loses, that doesn't matter. He's not getting buried. He's not nothing like that is happening. He gets to share the stage, the biggest stage all year with the greatest WrestleMania performer ever. So I hope it happens.
You can make the argument that like he is arguably probably the like top heel right now in the company.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, that's a good argument. I can't. There's probably somebody else, but that he's up there. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
when like healthy, I mean, you would probably say him Seth, but since he's hurt now, obviously that's gonna be Kevin Kevin Owens right now.
Right.
And, and then moving on to the U.S. Championship. Last week, Kalisto won the United States Championship from Del Rio, and then on SmackDown, 1 day or 3 days later, however you want to put it, lost it and lost it back to Del Rio with the help of Barrett, and now they have going to have a third match for the title at Royal Rumble. What are you guys' thoughts on the build up to this match so far?
I mean,
I
the build-up is not. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's not as bad, but I hate the hot potato poking with the U.S. title. It makes Alberto look really weak here. I mean, no offense to like Kalisto, but I just I'm not a fan of how they have booked this the last week or so here.
Eddie, you have anything to say?
I just don't. I mean, it's not really much of a feud. I thought they could have really built into it last week when he had the U.S. title match after the encounter on SmackDown where Cena was involved and all that. They could have referenced back to how these two met up in the first round of the WWE title tournament once Seth Rollins went out. But I don't like the booking of it where Kalisto won the title and then Del Rio quickly got it back, which would be 3 days later on television and just the night later, obviously because it's taped. But if they're going to do it this way, they should do the best of 3 or best of 5 or something like that and have it culminating at the Royal Rumble. But they didn't do that, and now I just don't see how Del Rio loses again because who's to say he doesn't come out the next night on Raw, get his other rematch that he would be entitled to, and then League of Nations interferes again, he wins it back, and then we're back to square one.
Yeah, I think Kalisto has to win uh, on Sunday. We'll get more into more of our predictions later. I mean, yeah, I agree that going back and forth for the title doesn't really make sense. But if I look at this, like if this was actually real life and wasn't scripted, and we had this rematch that if Del Rio can get if he wanted to whenever he wants, I mean, he could win it back. Even like if it's real life, you never know who can win. So that part of me saying, okay, I'm fine with it, but this isn't real life. This is WWE, and it
Right.
doesn't make sense for their character development. But I mean, if Kalisto wins Sunday, I'm fine with it to an extent. But if he doesn't win, then what the hell?
I'm fine with it only if he keeps it for a while, even up until Fastlane or they have a March to WrestleMania live event special or whatever coming up on the network in March, or if he even keeps it till Mania, that'd be great. But if he wins it, I don't want
Right.
to see him losing it for at least a month. But I just don't see him winning this. We'll get into that later.
And then another going to tag match, the bill for the tag match, real quick. Uh, hashtag rest in peace, Francesca. Uh, uh, we had on last night. We had I think one of the Usos, one of Jay or Jimmy, I forget, versus Big E. They had a match. um, is what it was. Your thoughts, your guys' thoughts on the build, if there was any of the tag match this Sunday.
I wasn't even aware there was like a tag title match coming up or the Usos were contenders. I had no idea until they're like, oh, well, the New Day's facing the Usos this Sunday.
Exactly.
Oh, they are? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
For the 50th time, so
the Usos are the most worthless tag team in the company right now. If you ask me, they are so bland, so uninteresting. Just anything involved with them, it's not gonna be anything special. That's sad because both of them are very talented, but they just there's no storylines. There's no real reason to get invested, and that's been the common theme these past few weeks with the New Day. Just like I mean that they are entertaining as hell, but they're not really doing anything right now. They're just floating.
yeah, they just come out and just entertain.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the injury to Sin Cara screwed up their plans, I think.
Yeah.
And then Usos are just pretty much the safety net. I mean, they're there. They're the only healthy team that's credible right now, and their faces, crowd for the most part likes them. You can agree to that. So why not? Just to get through the Rumble.
I
understand it, but it is what it is.
just don't care, and that's the main issue right now.
Yeah, I mean, all these damn injuries kind of just screwed everybody. So it kind of it is what it is. I don't know.
And then some.
Okay, that's real quick before we get Rumble predictions. The main event segment, highlight reel with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Thought it was good. They start fighting League of Nations.
Yeah, League of Nations coming out.
And then the big point, best part of the night, Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family come out and lay waste to Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Made the Wyatts look strong. That's what they needed. They needed somebody else or another group of people to feel like they're going to win the Rumble instead of Reigns and Lesnar. I think was excellent in my opinion.
I hope that sets up a Wyatt Lesnar WrestleMania match, honestly. I mean, the seeds were planted for it if they want to do that, which that would be great. Paul Heyman versus Bray Wyatt on the mic, that'd be excellent. But the overall segment was great in my opinion. It's how the whole show should have felt. There was a sense of urgency here. It got me even a little bit more excited than I already was for the Rumble. Reigns comes out and just quickly spears Lesnar, which that surprised me a little bit. I thought they would fight a little bit, but the League of Nations came out. And then Lesnar just tore through all of them, which was awesome. It's always a special thing to see when he comes in and just clears house and just starts throwing people across the ring. Because he can throw anyone halfway across the ring, and that's just incredible to me. But then as soon as the Wyatt thing popped up, that had me excited. I was hoping Lesnar wasn't just going to clear house of them and have it be a face-off between him and Roman Reigns at the end. I'm glad they came in, wreaked havoc on both Reigns and Lesnar, both getting the Sister Abigail from Bray Wyatt. And I think this does set up Lesnar versus Wyatt going towards Mania. And if it does, they can play that out in the Rumble in some way, shape, or form. Whether the Wyatts all get eliminated and come back in and take Brock out, or if Lesnar eliminates Wyatt and they come and beat him down later. Somehow, some way, they're all going to be connected in the Royal Rumble match, and hopefully it leads to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'm fully convinced now. We are definitely going to be getting Brock versus Wyatt at WrestleMania. I'm not sure how I exactly feel about that right now. But hey, I mean, like, who else is going to face? I mean, with all of the like injuries that have happened, I mean, Wyatt is honestly the only option right now. So hey,
You could go Kevin Owens, but then that would leave,
I'm
if he is in fact facing the Undertaker, that would leave the Undertaker with no one.
yeah,
And I do not want to see I don't want to see Brock Lesnar and the Undertaker again. I don't want to see Bray Wyatt and the Undertaker again.
yeah, and and for Kevin Owens versus Lesnar, I just don't think he is been like built up enough where he can face Brock yet. So I think it's a good idea for at least for like right now a Brock versus 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 Wyatt, but like I said, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that match at this second.
Well, at Fastlane, Lesnar is advertised to appear, and you assume he's going to wrestle. Do they do the Wyatt Lesnar match then? But if they do that there, then what's he do for Mania?
No, what they could do with that is they could just have Lesnar go through the Wyatt family until ultimately getting Bray at Mania.
Right?
You know,
You can do it. You can do
have
him versus the three.
right in succession. So one can be on a Raw if he's booked for a Raw. I'm not sure his booking dates right now, but I'm sure he's booked for a lot in the coming months. But you can have him take on Rowan, take him out easily. He can have a pretty good match with Luke Harper, and then it'd be quite the sight to see him toss around Braun Strowman
Right.
before finally getting his hands on Bray Wyatt.
The only thing I just beg to absolute God is that we do not get Brock versus Strowman. For the love of God, do not book that match. If they book that match, I'm going to be livid.
I hope if they book it, then it can be done at like say at Fastlane or that
But
that March to WrestleMania event that they're putting on, whatever, which is pretty much like a
but
fill-in pay-per-view, if you will, but not really a pay-per-view. That's the only way I'd see it, and it'd be interesting to see if he was made quick work of, or if Strowman had the upper hand for most of it, and then Lesnar came back and got the comeback and picked him up on his shoulders and F5'd him.
I'm like a Fastlane is fine, but if they do that at like WrestleMania, that crowd is going to absolutely just crap on that match so badly. So I hope Vince.
I don't think Vince is going to do that because Braun Strowman's way too green still.
Oh no, there's no way. There's no way they put that.
Right now.
No.
Way too green. I agree.
I guess that's pretty much it for Raw. So let's move into Royal Rumble predictions, and we'll start with undercard. Start with the United States Championship match: Del Rio versus Kalisto. Um, I'm gonna have, like I said before, Kalisto winning. I guess he needs to win and get back momentum. Del Rio can be fine without it. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, John.
I am going with like Kalisto as well. It seems they are just like a little bit more interested in Kalisto at this point. So and to me he has a little bit more steam right now. So I think he's probably the best bet right now.
I think it's going to be Del Rio just for the simple fact that he just won it back. I think that what they did on Monday was part of it. The game, or it was on during the halftime of the national championship game. So they wanted to like surprise the viewers and I guess reward the viewers for tuning in and maybe getting them to stay tuned in because watching the national title game, you flip over to Raw, see what's happening. Oh wait, Kalisto's the new champion, and then 3 days later on SmackDown he loses it. So I just think Del Rio retains. I'm sure he's going to have some sort of help from the League of Nations, but I just don't see him losing it. I think the only reason that Kalisto won it last week was because it was on at halftime of the national championship game, and they wanted to throw a little surprise in for Raw because you don't ever really see title changes on Raw too much.
No, and I do think that the only way that Alberto wins is by some type of screwy finish or interference. I don't see this ending clean. If he does, I'll go over here.
Yeah, I can see your point, Eddie, about Del Rio winning. It's, I mean, you can think of it as in Kalisto will become two-time U.S. champion in like a week. But I just see Kalisto doing much more with it than Del Rio.
Yeah, ADR is pretty much a like afterthought right now, in my estimation. So I would rather see the title on Kalisto and see what he can do.
I would rather see it on Kalisto, sure, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And I think the reason for that is because the match was placed when the game went to halftime. So I don't know. It should be a good match, though. I mean, the first two have been pretty good. So, well, I guess the first three, but the first one I don't really count.
Right. It wasn't for the title. Let's move on to the last man standing match between Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens for the IC Championship, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It should be. I don't know why I asked that question. I think I'm going to say Dean. Like I said before, Dean, and then Kevin Owens goes on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Ambrose here. The feud has been fun, and I wish it would have played out until like maybe Fastlane, unless the plans for the two of these guys to factor into the Rumble or the next time Raw or whatever. But it should be a very physical bout. I bet you there's some unique spots that are pulled, and but I just see Ambrose winning it, and I hope it's to lead to Kevin Owens versus The Undertaker. But I see Ambrose winning it and keeping the belt.
I do as well see Ambrose going over here. There's no real reason for Kevin Owens to be IC champion again. At this point, time for him, like Eddie said, to move onto the Undertaker and hopefully bigger and better things. And as far as like Ambrose goes, could we also see potentially him versus say like AJ Styles, if the reports coming into WWE are indeed true.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different things you can do with Ambrose going forward with the title. There can be different challengers. I wouldn't even mind seeing a program with him versus Del Rio if they're both the champion.
Yeah, I would be fine with that as well.
I guess, and then let's move on to tag team championship match. New Day, it's the champions facing the Usos. I have New Day. They're the hottest thing right now. So entertaining. I don't see why you give them to the Usos. Like I say, I think the that New Day should go into WrestleMania as the champs, and they could lose them there. I don't know, but they need to win this match.
There is no other viable tag team on the main roster right now who should be New Day. It's just that simple. Yeah, New Day should win easily. I see no reason whatsoever for them to be dropping the titles yet.
Yeah, I don't think that New Day loses. I don't see a reason for them to lose. I'm not really excited for this match at all, to be honest. I really don't care about it. I've seen it a lot of times. Would it surprise me if the Usos came out victorious? No, but I just don't see that happening. What I'm really excited for the New Day is to see how they keep Kofi Kingston in the Royal Rumble match, because they're definitely going to be involved in how he avoids elimination this year in some way or another. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on to the Divas Championship match. We got Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. I want to say Becky because I guess she's earned it, and winning the championship would help her tremendously. I see Charlotte retaining somehow, but I'll go I'll go with Becky. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If like Sasha wasn't hurt right now, I would be saying I would be saying Charlotte, but since she is reportedly injured, because I think the ultimate end game was to do Charlotte versus Sasha at WrestleMania, but since that's kind of up in the air now, I think I'm leaning towards a Becky here. I but I I've been going back and forth on this. In my mind, could I change by Sunday? But for right now, I'm gonna go with Charlotte. It's I just don't think she held the title as long, and they just kind of really started this this feud. So I would like to see Charlotte at least hold it until Fastlane.
Yeah, I would love Becky Lynch to win. It'd be a great story. And I'm picking Charlotte to win, but the only way I see Becky Lynch winning is if Ric Flair goes to cheat and somehow it backfires and costs Charlotte and then costs her the title, which would lead to her splitting with her father, becoming more of a heel. But I just think she wins this. I think it's too soon for her to drop it. I would like to see her hold it till WrestleMania and then have her, Becky, and Sasha. We talked about this last week, Matt. Have some variation. I want a title match for it. I don't want a battle royal for it. I want Charlotte or whoever is the champion to defend it against either 1, 2, or 3 people in a whatever kind of match. But I think Charlotte retains, and if she doesn't, then it's going to be Ric Flair's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that happening because of Ric Flair making the match for making the match himself, and Charlotte had that look that she didn't want to. I could see that teasing some, I don't want to say hatred, but some tension between the two. So I agree with that if they do that route, and then maybe have a rematch at Fastlane, and maybe lead to Sasha getting involved down the road for
Let's
Mania.
hope. Let's all hope for that.
Yes, because if they do Becky against Sasha, because John, you and me went to NXT in Pittsburgh when they came, and that was incredible.
That was the best live women's match I've ever seen, and it's not even close.
Yeah, and so they would steal the show at Mania. I can almost guarantee you that. So
and with everyone getting her, it's more likely they are going to give them like 10 or like 12 minutes here.
yeah, maybe, yeah. Okay, so let's get into the Rumble match itself. For the first time, is the WWE World Heavyweight Championship will be defended in the match itself. Let's just go straight into the picks of who's going to win. I still say Roman does not win, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm still feeling Triple H in some form or fashion is going to get involved and probably win.
I think like Triple H is the odds-on favorite. I think he will show up at like number 30, and just completely shock Reigns, not like everyone else, because like everyone's gonna see that coming. Barack, I would say has a like outside shot, but I think they're going to be focused with him versus versus Wyatt. So I think like Triple H is the odds-on favorite right now. And like Reigns, I could see it happening, but I give him a very, very slim chance.
Now, I'm going to make it a sweep here. I think Triple H does come out and win. If he doesn't win, he's definitely costing Reigns the title. But I think he's going to win. They're talking about possibly setting up some sort of crazy ending that will lead to a match at Fastlane to determine who faces the champ at WrestleMania. So I don't see them a scenario where it's like a draw or whatever. I don't see them like doing that and having the title not be held by anyone because they were just in that predicament for a couple weeks with Seth Rollins out. But I think it is Triple H. It's funny you say he's the odds-on favorite because he hasn't been seen or heard of before, but I would agree with you. He is the quote-unquote odds-on favorite, and that's astonishing to me for someone who hasn't been on television in weeks.
Yeah, and I was watching Wrestle Reaction last night, on WrestleReaction.net, and I think Doug McDonald, or I think it was him, said Vince said Triple H will. Vince was talking to Roman a couple of weeks ago, said Triple H will get payback when you least expect it.
Yep.
Something along the lines of that. So number 30 in the Rumble, you least expect it. If I was
it's almost obvious to a point,
but it's good obvious.
For people like us, it's obvious, but
yeah, but it's not a bad thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like if they have been constantly playing of the storyline of the Authority constantly making it difficult for Reigns, and like this would just add to the story here. So I fully expect that to continue.
Yeah. And
now we have who would you guys pick? Who's coming out number 2 to face Reigns? Because we know Reigns has to go through them all. So who faces them first?
I mean, it could very well be Ambrose or Kevin Owens, as you said earlier, Hetty.
I would love for it to be Brock Lesnar and just have them beat the hell out of each other, and then
I would love that.
They would just clean house and
in the middle.
I would hope it's that, but I'm gonna go Lesnar as number 2.
I think maybe a member of the Wyatt family.
That'd be interesting, especially like a Harper or a Strowman, especially Harper, because they could actually have a.
It would probably be Harper, if anyone, since he is the best worker out of all of them.
Yeah, and there's 4 members of the Wyatt family, so you can spread them out throughout the match.
I was just going to ask that. How do you think they're going to spread them out? Because they have the 4 members of the Wyatt family, what we think to be the 4 members of the League of Nations. Then you have the 3 members of New Day. Then you have the 4 members of Social Outcasts.
Yes, Social Outcasts.
Right, if they're all in it, in fact. But
and then Ambrose, Kevin Owens.
If they're both in it, but I'm just talking about like the pairings of or the groups of the factions, if you will, the faction teams, because.
Well, it'd probably be a League of Nations minus Barrett because he's hurt.
He's always hurt.
Apparently he was too hurt to speak in the beginning of Raw.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. It's
like what the hell?
I guess his voice box is also.
Do we see AJ Styles in the match?
I think we do.
I say yes.
Because
I do too.
His final appearance for Ring of Honor it is on Saturday, and he's not even wrestling. So I think that's also another sign he's going to be on the show.
Yeah, I think there's reports of him being in the Rumble or next night on.
I'd be fine with either.
Right, but the Rumble.
I hope it's the Rumble just because that'd be sweet to see him.
It'd be shocking.
Into that that fan base would only better because it's more of a hardcore fan base than on the Raw after. It would be more of a casual fan base, I feel.
Right. Um, how about, I think, real quick, dark horses, a wild card. Any besides Triple H, who has the next best chance of winning?
I
Someone that's not Triple H, Lesnar, or Reigns, you mean? Is that what you're asking? Or anyone but Triple H?
Yeah, anyone but Triple H. The quote Bray Wyatt.
Um, I I th- I think Wyatt is probably like a best bet. I just don't see too many contenders this year who can honestly win it. Like say last year, or actually not even last year. Um, I it's really hard to like make any other arguments about any other guys winning the Rumble this
Right.
year. My opinion.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like
know.
a
It's
backup
either going to
plan.
be Triple H or Reigns. It's
Yeah.
not going to be Lesnar. Lesnar's not winning.
No.
Oh.
One final thing before we go into the foreign object of the week. Do we see The Undertaker in the Royal Rumble match as a quote-unquote surprise?
No.
No. No.
I hope we do, but I don't think so.
It'd be nice. Don't get me wrong, but
Because then that's where you could set up the Kevin Owens,
right. It's just
especially if A, Kevin Owens isn't in the match at all, or B, he's already eliminated and comes in and takes him out.
Let me ask you guys this: do they have any NXT guys on the Rumble?
probably yes. Think
I'll say one. I'll say if it's anyone, it's going to be either Samoa Joe or Apollo Crews.
I was gonna say for weeks I was always thinking Sami Zayn
Mm-hmm.
because he's
I mean,
probably,
that's a good.
I had that in my mind a while when I was thinking they can continue his feud with Owens,
But
but it depends on what they do with Owens if they do Owens Undertaker.
if they are not doing Owens and the Undertaker, then like I feel they should definitely do Owens versus Sami Zayn.
You have enough time to build it.
And and there is already a story to that, and people would love to see it. So it books itself. It books itself.
It writes itself.
It does.
Okay, that's Eddie. What's your foreign object of the week?
Yeah, Jonathan, you're new to this. I'm not sure if you've watched before, but at the end of each show, I give a foreign object, since that's the name of the show, and we either bring up our favorite memory or favorite use of the weapon. And today we're going to use the trash can. I'll start things off. And my favorite one was when Shane McMahon went coast to coast on Vince McMahon at WrestleMania with the trash can. That was awesome to me, and that's my favorite moment of a trash can. I mean, you guys don't have to think of special moments or anything, but whatever you guys think of to say about the trash can.
Trash cans. The first thing that comes to mind for me, WrestleMania 22, Shawn Michaels and McMahon. When McMahon's like upper body's in the trash can, and he's laying on the table, and Shawn Michaels does the diving elbow off the top of the ladder on the McMahon through the table. That was a good spot. That's the first
Yeah, that
thing
was
that
awesome.
comes. Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah.
Man, I don't know, guys. I need some time to think about that. You kind
It's all right.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is when people do is when they put someone, like you said, like Vince McMahon was in there, like you just described, and they just start beating it with like kendo sticks or chairs or just different weapons. I love when they do that too.
Mhm.
When they use the trash can like that.
I can't think. I'm buying time for John here. I can't think of any other like big moments off the top of my head
I was
about
trying.
trash cans.
I was trying to like think of like matches with like Foley or just
Right.
anything ECW related, but there's nothing that really like just like that really jumps out. I mean, Shane McMahon with the coast to coast. I love that spot. Love that spot, man. Like,
Doesn't RVD do that
Yeah,
too?
he does the Van Terminator with the
yeah,
chair.
He does like almost a coast to coast thing too, I think.
Yeah, they do. It's the same thing.
yeah.
But
So
Van Damme Oh, I don't know if he was the actual originator, but he did that in ECW in his early days of WWE too. So
yeah, you could pretty much say the same thing. I wouldn't blame you.
right.
Yeah. So before we leave, any closing thoughts? Anything to add?
It's my birthday on Saturday, so the night before the Rumble, it's my birthday.
Happy
So
birthday!
I'll be
Early
enjoying.
birthday.
Thank you. I'll be enjoying that. So I'm trying to go to an IWC wrestling event down in Elizabeth, Pennsylvania, that night.
Oh,
Uh,
we haven't gone in like, man.
Months.
Yeah, so I'm trying to go to that. But other than that, follow me at KingOver15 on Twitter, and we'll be back next week.
All right, yeah, guys. Thanks for like having me on here. I always enjoy talking wrestling. Matt was very outspoken to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can also follow me on Twitter at LAJGore492. I talk about wrestling a ton, MMA, sports, whatever. So give me a follow.
And you guys can follow me. You see it right there at mhaladio92, and give the account Pittsburgh Sports Castle a follow at Pitt Sports Castle on Twitter. Um, you heard our predictions. Hit us up. Tell us what you think, and enjoy the Royal Rumble on Sunday. Good evening. Have a good night.